Boozed and Bothered on occasion may contain content that readers and listeners find offensive or distasteful. The views and opinions expressed on this podcast or on the articles on the website are solely those of the individual authors, speakers, and or guests, and do not necessarily reflect the views of Boozed and Bothered as a whole or the views of any of Boozed and Bothered's affiliate or parent companies and organizations. Enjoy the show.
Man. But it's totally fine. How was your day? You did a lot today.
Yeah, it was good. It was good. We, what did we do?
Well, there's a tree in your house.
There is
so
a tree.
I assume that happened.
Got some food. Ate some good food.
Yeah, I know. I saw your check-in on Facebook.
Yeah.
Facebook. We're all Alabama now.
I'm voting too.
Everybody's so invested. We're all just taking it on.
Yeah, I got a Christmas tree today.
Hey.
Decorated it. Got to utilize those ornaments I picked up in Seattle and Chicago.
Oh, I saw those. I still haven't decided if I want to put my tree up. I have a fake one.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I haven't put that thing up in years.
Might as well. I mean, you got it. Might as well use it.
People say that to me every year.
Yeah.
And I still don't do it.
Oh. It's the 12th.
I know.
You got 13 days. I mean, you could even make a decision on the 24th if you fucking feel like it.
I don't think I want it up.
Oh, okay.
I don't think I do.
Sure.
I think it's just easier. Like I might put some lights on my ivy outside.
Oh, yeah. Hey.
That'll be festive.
Right on Ivor?
Yeah.
Yeah, a Christmas trellis.
Exactly.
I'm fine with that. That's festive.
I feel like that's festive, and it's on display. It's outside.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. Well, that's why I try to get mine by the window, right?
I don't know. Putting up a tree is such a big hassle. Like my parents' tree is up, and I saw their pictures, and I was like,
yeah.
Oh, look at all the childhood memories attached to this tree. And then I saw my stepdad's Philadelphia Eagles jersey ornament. And I was like, what in the hell is that? This is a Niners house. You get that shit off of here.
Yeah, I've got my Steelers ornament up. Yeah. Brian today sent me a link to Hallmark, and he was like, this is the ornament I need, and it's Rob Gronkowski. He's a Patriots fan.
Mm-hmm. Wow.
Oh, Gronk.
I didn't know we were cussing today, but...
Oh, man. Twitter is blowing up about Roy Moore right now. I'm getting emails about it.
Stop, Sean. I'm trying to,
I mean, it's not saying anything about the election. It's just...
Listen, because we are right down to the wire here. We are at 79% of precincts.
Oh, my God. Weren't we at 69% 5 minutes ago?
Yeah, they're rolling in. I think everything's closed. It's 7:06 here, which means that it's
10:06. No, wait. Are they 2 or 3 hours ahead in Alabama? What time zone are they?
I honestly don't know.
I'm pretty sure they're Eastern Standard. I don't know if they're Central. Yeah, because they're right next to Florida.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. They have to be Eastern Standard.
Well, their polls are definitely closed. I mean, whether they're 3 hours or 2 hours ahead.
Yeah, 9:06 or 10:06.
Yeah. Things are closed and votes are coming in, and it was not close 5 minutes ago, but it is very close now.
Yeah.
The problem is that I'm looking at the map of Alabama, and the traditionally blue sections, the urban areas are kind of already in place. So
are we talking like Tuscaloosa, Mobile?
It's Mobile. Montgomery. And Birmingham. The Birmingham, Montgomery, and Mobile are obviously solid blue.
Tuscaloosa? Isn't Tuscaloosa blue? I mean,
it's not. Well, yeah, but it's not listed. There's a band of blue, and then there's
I would imagine the college towns are solid. We're Auburn, right?
And so we're waiting. There's a separation, by the way, right now, and this can go either way. There's a separation of 14,000 votes.
Ooh.
And it's a...
and we're finishing reporting in right now.
It's very exciting. So we're just we're just gonna keep an eye on that.
Oh, okay.
And I'm very excited.
Okay.
I love the drama of politics. I think this is fun.
Well, to kick off our cheers. What are we drinking?
Lagunitas IPA.
Lagunitas IPA. Classic.
It is classic. I have to have this in my fridge all the time.
No,
Even
yeah.
if I don't drink it all the time, this is what I have to have.
Was that you and me? We went to Lagunitas. That was before
Yeah,
I moved to Seattle, right?
Yeah, we did this.
Yeah, we went to
This was
Petaluma.
us.
That was a lot of fun.
They have a great... Well, because we talked about having to go back to... Or wanting to go back to the brewery, but
Yeah.
we had a great time there.
I had a blast. I definitely want to go back there.
And they give the best tour.
Oh my god. They're like really organized potheads.
They are really organized potheads, and they're not afraid to admit that. The only brewery tour that we've done together that was even closer to the stuff was Ninkasi.
Ninkasi was good.
Ninkasi was good, but Ninkasi also made me really uncomfortable and very nervous because they were just like, put gloves on.
Yeah.
All of a sudden, you're like, oh, is that a conveyor belt right next to me? And
Yeah.
as beer bottles, you're just like, boop.
I was a big fan of Deschutes.
Deschutes is beautiful, but they had you like closed off.
Yeah.
Like you were on like the railing.
Yeah, and there was glass.
Yeah, you were definitely like you knew your place.
Yeah. Although, I mean, I was drunk going into that tour because of all those samples right at the beginning when you're waiting.
I don't remember being super drunk. I remember drinking a lot afterwards. In the
I
tasting
had
room.
an empty stomach, and I went in there and I got
the day
their.
we got breakfast on the porch
I think
on
so.
the back lawn of
No.
that one coffee shop.
Yeah, but it wasn't really a breakfast. I mean,
I had breakfast.
and I got their X IPA. I got their fresh squeezed. I got their Black Butte. I got Obsidian Stout.
Yeah, I love Deschutes. They're great.
They're my favorite, absolute favorite. And to go in Bend.
Wait, Red Chair's out right now, right?
I think it's a fall beer.
I thought that was winter. I don't know. We can look.
Well, if it is, I know what I'm drinking next week. I know what I'm drinking all week. To be completely,
Wait, isn't that your favorite? Is that your favorite thing?
That's like one of my favorite things, especially Red Chair on Nitro. Burgers and Brew will have it whenever it's out. Oh my god, it's so good! It's such a good nitro beer.
Mm-hmm. Well, yeah, I mean, I don't think I don't think it's out.
No,
I haven't seen it.
Oh hi! I know I saw it earlier this year. No, I have to look it up.
Yeah, you let me know.
I gotta have it. Are you over 21? Yes. God, what is this? 1990s porn?
Yes, it is.
January through April. Wow, we're way off.
I always thought it was over the holidays.
Yeah, it's January through April.
Well, sometimes being a liar isn't that bad.
It's interesting. Yeah, because it's all about like a lift chair, like a ski lift chair.
Oh, I guess that makes sense.
It's a perfect split of citrus, succulent, and floral. The citrus punch of a big IPA minus the one-dimensional hop sledgehammer. Several select European and domestic malts round out the edges for a complex, copper-colored brew. Like its namesake, ski lift, it's an insider's ride to fresh thrills.
That's the good flavor in it. It's the malts.
I agree.
That's really good.
I absolutely agree. Well, I'm looking forward to that next month then, because that is my shit.
You said January 1st?
January through April.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
That's a long run. I didn't realize it ran that long.
Yeah.
I thought it was like a month and a half or something.
It's like half of winter and half of spring.
I'm just going to get used to being wrong then.
Yeah. Well,
This is what it feels like.
It happens to all
There's
of us.
more beer.
All right. Well, everyone, welcome to Booze and Bothered. I am Daddy, a.k.a. Sean, your producer.
And I'm Jonathan. I'm supposed to be your host, but...
Sometimes we wonder.
Yeah. I'm very hospitable.
Hospitable? I think it's hospitable.
Okay, well, you know what? You're right.
As it's regularly tagged, one of the host guys.
Yeah, I am one of those people.
No Rob this week. I'm very sad about it.
Rob is on.
He's on daddy duty.
Yeah.
Well, he's soon to be daddy duty.
I know. I assume he's just. I haven't seen him. He's probably just at a bar drinking until this baby comes.
We're laying in wait. We're waiting. Sounds like a movie title. Waiting for Oliver. December 2017.
I mean, this child is supposed to be here soon. So
Yeah. What was the due date? The 17th? We got 5 days.
Well, listen. At any point in time, this child is going to come, and Rob will be a father.
He will.
And it'll be hard to get him back on here.
It'll be Daddy Rob.
Daddy Rob.
Papa Bear.
Mm-hmm.
That's who he'll be. He'll be Papa Bear.
Big Daddy Rob.
Big Daddy Rob, the Papa Bear. Slow news week, yeah, but some, pretty big things this week, I would say, right?
I think fun things. These are like these are saucy.
These are definitely very fun. There's a lot of sauce. There's definitely opinions to be had on all of this stuff. Maybe, I don't know. I haven't seen the reactionaries out kind of blowing it up lately as far as these issues go. Maybe the federal concealed carry law that might shake some boots.
Yeah, I think that when it comes to the concealed carry, what's the official thing? It's officially called the Concealed Carry
Reciprocity Act.
Which
I'm all about reciprocity.
So, I mean, a handful of Democrats switched over to vote for this bill, and
Interesting.
A handful of Republicans switched over to oppose it. And I think we were talking about this last night.
Democrats who are pro-gun are always so fun for me.
There are a lot of them.
I really enjoy them.
Well, we also have to remember, Sean, that we live in California. National Democrats are very different than California.
Yeah. California Democrats are, what was the story about Alexa being a hardcore Democrat, moving out to California, going, y'all are fucking weird.
Yeah.
You're like, oh, you're a California Republican.
Yeah, we out here, everybody takes things way too far.
Way too. I mean, I think that's the West Coast in general. I lived in Seattle. I've been to Portland.
It's called being extra, Sean. And we absolutely are out here.
The extra coast.
That's
the extra coast.
I mean, that's one way to put it.
I feel like that happens in New York too. I feel like New York is capable of such things.
Well, New York isn't very capable of doing a whole lot.
I mean, except for arresting men on subways who are spreading their legs.
Oh, the man spreading? Does that tie into concealed carry?
Ties into being extra.
Can't it be both?
Oh. Are we asking men in New York to conceal their carry?
Or is that open carry?
Oh, yeah. Maybe that's the offense. Maybe the offense is that it's open carry.
I don't know. You know what? People need to chill out.
It's oppressive.
I've never been on a New York subway, so...
I've been doing a lot of traveling lately. The day may come.
Will you let me know how dirty it is?
It's funny that you say that because living in Seattle, Brian talks about New York transplants a lot, and he says that New York transplants, one of the things they always say is it's so clean here.
Well, that's an interesting way to start any conversation with somebody you just met in your new locale. That's the best thing.
Yeah, Seattle's so clean compared to New York.
I'm glad. One, I'm glad you added that little note at the end. But
yeah. Well, we've got to be specific.
Seattle's also cleaner than San Francisco.
Well, I mean, but is that hard to do?
San Francisco's dirty.
I mean, is that hard to do?
I don't like that city.
Right.
I really don't.
I know you don't. I know.
Care. I can handle it for a few
hours. The one
hours.
part of NorCal Johnny could really do without.
I can't wait for the San Andreas fault line.
That's a hot fucking take.
First of all, it'll save this country. And second of all, I'm totally fine with having beachfront property popping up around, I don't know.
You know what?
Ripon?
I'm all about living in the Sacramento Bay. In Sacramento Bay area.
Yeah, it's totally fine.
That's fine. That's fine.
Oh my God, but people then start complaining about all the trash that we washed into the ocean. It never ends. You can't win with these people. Listen, we're talking about.
And then people wanting Arizona Bay also with Los Angeles. Yes, we're talking about the concealed.
Wow.
Considered.
Wait, how much beer have you had?
Arigato gozaimasu. Going back to my not roots, I'm actually part Chinese. No Japanese in there. I mean, who knows? Maybe I'm Filipino. We've people call us the Mexico of Asia. So anyway, the house.
You're a mess. You back off. Okay, have a seat.
Sitting.
I'll bring this in.
Bring it, baby.
All right. Well, Politico talks about this, and they kind of. No one can be serious, can they? No one can have serious moments, Sean.
We are boozed and bothered. Please do not take us that seriously.
Well,
we're serious
boozed.
enough. I am definitely boozed today. I'm so glad I'm not bothered.
Did you eat anything?
Yes.
Well, I think maybe you just can't handle alcohol. I think that's what we're learning slowly over the
I'm not even drunk. I'm just in a good mood. Come on. Okay.
Okay, well, I don't know the difference.
That's a good thing. House passes concealed carry gun bill in win for GOP and NRA.
And this is only in the House. The Senate has it right now. But
Right.
You know, it's like, what did we talk about?
231, 198. Well, okay.
Yeah. I mean, that's kind of close.
Yeah.
But is it really? Listen, the problem that I think people are having with this, one, is because the narrative of guns. People don't like it. But this actually does some interesting things for, I don't know if you would call it the security people.
Yeah.
The people who want like stricter control on who has access to gun ownership.
Sure.
And whatever that vein of thought is. Because this does expand background checks. It tries to close the loopholes between information from, what is that? It's not the FBI. It's not the FBI. Absolutely not. The Bureau of Alcohol, Tobacco, Firearms, and Explosives is looking at whether it can regulate bump stocks. I mean, there's stuff in here for increasing the flow of background check information from the federal government down to people who are requesting that information for sales and for concealed carry permits. But then there's also the question of this crossing state lines, and that's what a lot of Democrats pulled up as like their narrative in this. That was the main focus, is that in states, you know, we live in California.
Mm-hmm.
Concealed carry is a thing here. You can get it.
Yeah. Little difficult.
It is a little difficult, but you know, I've talked to people who have gotten their concealed carry here, and they did it through the sheriff's office here in Sac County.
Yeah, definitely possible.
It's definitely possible, and they loved the experience. They thought it was great to work alongside the sheriff's department to get it. Which, I mean, however you can get it, as long as it's accessible, I don't really have a problem.
I hear it's really relatively stringent, but also like a bit of a pleasant process. I'm not sure how that works out.
Yeah, I've heard. Well, it's a long process.
Yeah.
There's background checks. There's I believe you have to enter their training program, which is
yes, you do.
A several step program, but it's with the sheriff's department.
Mm-hmm. Because when I was at Sacramento Gun Club, they were telling me all about it. And
same.
Yeah, a lot of steps. Because I was there with Matt.
Place.
I was there with Matt on his birthday, and they were advertising some concealed carry training and.
Well, they're also out of Sac proper, so most of their connection to law enforcement is through Sac sheriffs.
Yeah.
I don't think they're in Sac PD's jurisdiction. I don't think it goes out that far because that's they're a county island right there. Or they're close to Rancho Cordova.
Sure.
But regardless, the sheriff's department is the one that anybody that I've talked to has gone through them to get it. Sac City is very strict, but the county's different.
Okay.
But regardless, here in California, we have very strict, rules about guns. Literally everything that gun restriction activists, I won't call them anti-gunners. I think that's a little too inflammatory. But I think, they're sensitive. But gun restrictionists, I believe, would point to everything that California has. And, I could pull the stats up right here, but California's gun crime is not exactly impressive for all the restrictions that we have.
Yeah.
Regardless, though, California has all of these things that everybody wants for gun restrictions. And the question when it comes to looking at this bill is, California neighbors Nevada and Oregon and Utah a little bit, right?
No.
No.
Arizona.
Utah's further out.
Utah. It's Nevada then Utah.
That's true. But these states are much more open to gun ownership and concealed carry and open carry and stuff like that. And especially gun sales in Nevada function very differently than they do here in California.
Absolutely.
Does California have an argument to keep those people out or to force those people to follow California's rules? Because I think the question here is what exactly this law is allowing people to do. And the law is not even done being made. And it has to go through the Senate.
And you brought up an interesting point earlier this week about how it kind of pits the Second Amendment and the 10th Amendment against each other.
Yeah, that's
right.
That is an argument. Do states have the right to control what happens within their borders when they've already set the rules, especially here in California when a lot of rules are set by vast majorities, both in the legislative branch and when it comes to referendums on a public vote? If these restrictions are in place for California, even if I agree with open or concealed carry freedoms or actions or whatever, however you want to call it, does California state have the right to tell people to abide by California state laws?
Sure.
Versus people just coming in from out of state with their concealed carry permits from out of state, doing whatever the hell they want. Not that I think those people are bad people at all, and not that I think that California is wrong. It's just it's a weird intersection of thought. I mean, who has the upper hand there? Is it the state or is it the individual?
Right. Well, I mean, I think the argument could potentially be made about when it comes to the Second Amendment, because a lot of states are not a lot. There's a number of states in the Union who are very not Second Amendment friendly, right? And I think people could make the argument that they're defiling, or not defiling, that's strong. Okay. Disrespecting the Constitution with some of their firearms laws or weapons laws in general. Right?
Right.
I mean, I guess I'm playing devil's advocate here. And so I from what I've seen online and what I've been reading and what I've been hearing is that a lot of people are okay with this because to them it restores the Second Amendment in a sense of.
Well, I mean, if your driver's license, your driver, I cannot talk ever.
Nobody can talk today.
If your driver's license can sustain itself legitimately outside of the state, how does your concealed carry permit expire when it leaves the state?
Exactly.
Especially when that permit's granted off of the basis of the Second Amendment. That's its core argument.
Yeah.
Is that you have the right. This is a means
shall not be infringed.
Right. I mean, I guess the permit is a way for the state to kind of have a hand in that, to making sure that people who are getting concealed carry permits are, in the best case possible, not crazy people.
Correct.
That these are perfectly fine, emotionally stable people to be carrying their firearms. But what right does California have to debase a Nevada state citizen of their rights coming into California?
Sure.
And then at the same, I don't know, this bill crosses a lot of lines, and it creates these dynamics that it pulls up a lot of questions as to does California not have the right to make these rules, or are these rules steps too far? Mm-hmm. Are California's gun laws they're overbearing? Right. Or are Nevada's too liberal? Too liberal. Not in the left sense, but in the grander, like, freedom from government.
In, like, the textbook definition, liberal sense.
Classically.
Yeah, like, to apply freely.
I don't know. This is just, it's a weird thing. I've read the text of this article. not article, read both. I read the text of the bill, and it goes into like other things like,
Sure.
you know, federal judges carrying and blah, 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 blah. It's just, you know, typical legislation stuff. And it doesn't even seem that expansive or that overbearing.
Right.
So I'm not really sure why people are freaking out about it. And it hasn't passed the Senate. Depending on who is elected from Alabama, we will find out exactly how easy the Republicans in the Senate will be able to pass legislation going forward. But this...
I still don't know.
Yeah, I know. They can...
I haven't seen it. I've been a good boy. I haven't looked. You're killing me.
Do you want to know?
Oh, man, do I want to know?
I have a projected winner.
Do you?
Yeah, if you want to interrupt this whole shenanigan.
How many? What's the percentage of precincts reporting in right now?
91.
91.
And CNN.
What's the split?
CNN is calling a projected winner.
What's the split right now? How
13,000 votes.
Okay. What? Okay. Hold on. I need to.
Doug Jones.
Oh, really?
Is projected to have won the race. Mm-hmm.
Alabama? Oh, I could fucking hug you right now.
Yeah.
I could fucking... I mean... Ooh, girl.
This is very exciting.
You know, Trump really wanted more to win because of political reasons, and I had a big problem with that, you know, towing the line over some bullshit.
Mm-hmm.
But I am, you know... I mean, the Republicans are going to have a tricky time in the Senate for a while, but especially depending on what happens in the midterms. But
well, I don't think Alabama has a senator going up in the midterms.
No.
Jones will hold the Senate seat until
Well, I'm talking about all the others.
Yeah, I mean that's true, and they'll have to fight harder. But
yeah,
you know, more.
I feel good about it.
More lost.
Yeah.
And I'm not mad about it.
I'm not mad. You fucking molester. Go home.
You know, it's hard to say, though, whether or not this is a good thing for Republicans. And bear with me on this.
Okay.
Democrats won this seat. They're probably gonna hold on to it, or not hold on to it. They're probably gonna grab it, and it's gonna be fine. Here's the problem.
Okay.
With a Democrat win, they will hold this seat for a few years.
Yeah.
This term will expire in 2021.
Sure.
And then Jones will either be up for re-election. The seat will be up for re-election.
Yeah.
The controversy's gone, which means that in 3 years, will another Republican be able to beat him out of that seat? Or it becomes a much more open question for what goes on there. And without having to go through the ethics committee in the Senate, without having a lot of drama go on in the Senate for Roy Moore, you kind of, how would you put this? There's the drama around this disappears with a Democrat getting the seat. If Roy Moore had the seat, then we would be sitting here for another few weeks while an ethics committee investigation went down. We would be potentially watching a Republican senator getting expelled from the Senate.
Could have been fun.
And it would destroy the reputation for the GOP. But going into 2018, this kind of mutes it. Do Democrats really have a leg up here? Do they really have the argument that they thought? Because voters in Alabama are pretty solidly red, and it looks like those same voters voted for Doug Jones.
Yeah.
Which means what?
Southerners are very particular about their daughters.
Also fine.
It's true.
In
my experience.
Watch your mouth.
Okay.
You dirty ass.
Not like that. From what?
You're a bad boy.
I have not. I'm just gonna leave that one.
You
Leave it alone.
you leave those blonde blue eyes. you get off this farm. You get out. Shut up, Sean. You're rude.
I didn't mean it like that. Oh, whatever. Anyway, so back to concealed carry.
I don't know what else to say about this. I mean, I don't even know what the Senate's doing with this. I don't think the Senate really cares about this.
No.
We'll see if they pass it. If they pass it, they pass it. If they don't, who cares? I mean, nothing changes.
America as is.
Yeah, I mean, I don't. This was such a big deal for people. They were like, "Oh my God, the Republicans are trying to like bring gun violence into our inner cities," which I thought was a hilarious thing. Because
Oh, you mean the places where gun violence already exists?
yeah, I'm pretty sure that
maximum?
Chicago, Detroit, Los Angeles, these places are run by Democrats, and they're,
They experience boatloads of gun violence all the time.
I don't like any of those cities. Listen, they're all beautiful cities, but they are run by Democrats.
I love.
They have absolute.
I don't know about Los Angeles, but Chicago is wonderful.
If you know where you're going.
Yeah, well, stay away from the South Side. Kanye talks about it all the time.
Got it.
Not staying away. He loves it. Also in the news this week, this is chunky. This is a bit of a hot button. Israel Palestine.
Yeah, Vox did a really good piece on this, and it was like a 17-point I don't know, like a slideshow.
More than that.
It was more than that. It's not much more. 21 slides. But it's a great write-up on the history and everything, and you got to appreciate Vox when they go thorough and basically just give you the facts.
Real good job, yeah.
Yeah. But Trump followed up on, I don't even know that this is a big deal, of moving our embassy to Jerusalem. And of course, everyone's mad. BBC News. No one, I swear to God, I can't talk. I'll take another beer, though. No, I mean, for real.
Oh, okay. BRB.
BBC News kind of put out a piece that the EU, no one in the EU bloc was going to, recognize Jerusalem as the capital, which came a couple days after the Czech Republic did. And I was like, but no one's moving their embassies, which is basically the point, that Tel Aviv is going to be the place. And I don't know that I care about this, but a lot of people do. Obviously, we're here to talk about things that a lot of people are divided on or whatever. But everything in Israel, as far as its government is concerned, is based in Jerusalem. Their parliament is in Jerusalem. The official living space for the prime minister and the president are both in Jerusalem.
Mm-hmm.
Their courts are in Jerusalem. I mean, what makes a capital if the seat of your government is anywhere else? Why would you recognize that as not? I don't know. This is it's a confusing thing because it encompasses the entire Israeli-Palestinian conflict, which is
millennia old,
gigantic, and you have to give it up for Vox for their piece on this, because it broke it down into much more easily digestible bits. But people say that this is going to inflame the two-state solution for peace.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't... Who cares? Who cares? The Palestinians are going to sit here, have come out and said that this is inappropriate and whatnot. Everybody's saying that this is inappropriate. And it's like, the Israeli central government is located in Jerusalem. To deny that is its capital is, one, to go against 22-year-old standing U.S. policy.
Yeah.
Because that's a law. In the legal sense, we recognize Jerusalem as the capital. We just never moved our embassy. How does this jeopardize the two-state solution, though? it's hard to like understate the depth of this conflict and the passion for this issue. But the Jack News comes in here, and Jim Bennett is kind of puts the nail on it. The sky is blue, and Jerusalem is the capital of Israel. You know, as if this is a duh question. And he goes on to say things like, the UN waited too long to respect Israel's right to name its capital.
Right.
And he talks about how, what right does any country have to tell any other country
what their capital is?
Right.
Right.
That's a ridiculous premise. I mean, if we're talking about sovereignty and we're talking about sovereign right, obviously internally that becomes a point of conflict between the Palestinians and the Israelis, who both view Jerusalem as their capital.
Mm-hmm.
But both things can be true.
Yeah.
Jerusalem can be the capital of both states, and it doesn't need to derail, especially when the entire Israeli government is acting out of the city. It doesn't derail anything. This has nothing to do with Israeli settlements in the West Bank. It has nothing to do with Israeli occupation in Gaza. It has nothing to do with these massive, really, really scary and complicated issues that have to do with the Israeli and Palestinian situation. It just is a fact. It's a damn fact.
Sure.
And first of all, who gives a shit if China and Russia and Saudi Arabia, who barely recognizes Israel's existence as it is,
as a country,
you know,
right?
Who cares what these countries have to say? Who cares? They don't rule Palestine. They don't rule Israel. It doesn't matter. You know, and all of these countries in the Middle East that refuse, first of all, if Israel honestly is in a position where multiple countries around it don't want it to exist, who cares about their perspective?
Right.
And Trump doing this is just, you know, he had that really funny clip of like every president since Bill Clinton.
I saw that.
And
they all talking about Jerusalem being the capital of Israel.
Yeah. Who cares about this? People are so mad, and people are like, free Palestine.
Right.
You know, or they go full on Zionist, and it's like for the love of God, both things can be true, and it doesn't change anything. And you don't get to tell another country what their capital is or isn't.
Right. That's a little ridiculous. I agree.
Like Jim Bennett starts off and he's like, his opening line in this, it is impossible to pinpoint the moment when the United States recognized London as the capital of the United Kingdom. That's probably because there's no such moment.
No such moment occurred.
Yeah. The reality is that London has always been the capital of the UK, and a separate acknowledgement of the same is neither necessary or appropriate, which is a great centered earthly view of this. If literally the entire Israeli government is in Jerusalem, it's their capital. I hate to be the bringer of bad news, but that's just the way it works.
It's also their fucking business.
Well, I mean, it is something to work out with the Palestinians because the two-state solution centers on, among other things, a shared capital city, because it's the center of a very conflicted region. But the two-state solution centers on Jerusalem becoming the capital of both or serving as the capital of both Israel and Palestine.
Right.
Which is fine. And there's complicated issues around this. And when it comes to Israeli settlements, when it comes to occupied territory, claimed occupied territory, however you want to say that, this is not, the whole issue is pretty hot. It's not a very easy issue, obviously. But if it's their functioning capital, it's their capital. If, for whatever reason, the federal government of our nation fled Washington, D.C., and settled in
Kansas.
Yeah. Or Kansas City, Missouri.
Yeah.
Kansas City, Missouri is the capital of the United States then.
Yeah.
I hate to break it to everybody. And I know that's a super watered down version of events, but that it doesn't matter what anybody else thinks. It doesn't matter what the international community thinks.
Sure.
It doesn't matter what the UN thinks. And people who pull on petty little issues like this really make it difficult. And I say people, but I really mean national organizations and governments who go after petty little bullshit things like this really make the situation far more tense and far more serious
than it is or needs to be, really.
Yeah, there are other issues to focus on. People over here creating multinational bodies to come out with statements that say we do not officially recognize Jerusalem. Rah, rah, rah. Fuck off, EU. No one cares what you have to say. And the Israelis don't give a shit what you have to say. It's their capital. You can either send an ambassador or not. And if you want to keep sending an ambassador to Tel Aviv instead of Jerusalem, knock your boots off. Totally fine. It's also your embassy. Congratulations. You just have a further drive.
Have a wonderful day.
Yeah, no one cares. And the Israelis certainly don't seem to have a problem with this. The Palestinians do, but they're, like I said, the whole thing's a complicated situation, but this is the least complicated issue in that entire situation.
Sure.
And it just complete ridiculousness. People are so crazy. They just love fighting about everything.
I think it really just comes down to, whether it's going to be a 2-state or a 1-state solution. Right? I mean,
and I think most people want the 2-state solution because the 1-state is it's scary for both sides, and it's scary for the international community to face.
Mm-hmm. So, as Vox says, the 1-state solution would merge Israel, the West Bank, and the Gaza Strip into one big country. It comes in 2 versions. One, favored by some leftists and Palestinians, would create a single democratic country. Arab Muslims would outnumber Jews, thus ending Israel as a Jewish state. The other version, favored by some rightists and Israelis, would involve Israel annexing the West Bank and either forcing out Palestinians or denying them the right to vote. Virtually the entire world, including most Zionists, reject this option as an unacceptable human rights violation.
And I don't know that I understand how do I want to put this? It's already kind of uncomfortable that we prop up and position ourselves behind a theocratic government.
Yes.
Especially when somebody else would have to answer this for me. The Israeli state is specifically a Jewish state, right? State religion,
I believe so.
Backed.
Yeah.
Isn't it a little weird that we're backing a theocratic state? At the same time, it was set up to be the Jewish homeland. The state was meant to serve a purpose, and it was supposed to divide. I don't understand why a lot of these things aren't... the Middle East goes back to the Ottoman Empire and the British and French colonial division of territory. And I don't know why they pick some of these lines.
Right.
Because it really messed things up for a while. And this bad planning.
Sure.
This is bad planning. And this could have been avoided, I'm sure. I don't know who or how this came to be about and why the British and the French decided to block off these boundaries the way that they did.
Sure.
But here we are, and we have to fix it. And I say we as a global community, which I think even sounds ridiculous. I don't know why the rest of the world needs to be involved in this.
They don't really need to have a say. Right?
The Israeli state has clearly shown an ability to defend itself. The Palestinians...
Right.
It's hard to not identify with the Palestinian position, though.
Yeah.
Because they have their own claim to that, and it's a pretty legitimate claim. I don't know. It'd be nice to see this resolved, but people have been saying that for as long as I've been alive. So
And longer.
And
longer.
Cheers to that.
Cheers to that.
For peace between Palestine and Israel. Which
may not happen in our lifetime.
Well, we'll pray for it. It's the time of Christmas miracles, Sean. Have faith.
Amen.
Anyways. Let's talk about something more fun.
Yeah, also in the news this week.
Palestinian-Israeli conflict is not a fun thing. No one laughs.
No. So, out of the White House this week, we got a couple of headlines, one from CNN and one from NASA themselves, if anyone was paying attention a couple days ago.
And the Hill.
And the Hill. I don't have the Hill one. From NASA themselves, Trump, on a live stream that was casted to Twitter, signed some new policies. A new policy. NASA says it is, as their headline goes, new space policy directive calls for human expansion across solar system. And CNN Politics says Trump to send astronauts back to the moon and eventually Mars, which is NASA is definitely using their headline to talk about the long game here.
Which, I mean, hopefully we have a long game. I mean, that's fine.
Yeah, that's totally fine. CNN is definitely talking about the short game, kind of in a place where it's, I guess we're talking about putting NASA on the same lines as SpaceX.
I don't really have a problem with NASA being involved in this.
Yeah, sure.
I think it paves the way for others. I think what I do have a problem when it comes to NASA, though, is that NASA tends to take all the air out of the room. And I kind of feel like I can trust this administration to encourage private enterprise to really take a lot more burden than the 50s, 60s, and 70s did. I think that it wasn't even until very recently within our lifetimes that space exploration became a viable option for private companies to pursue. I think Boeing challenged SpaceX to reach Mars.
Yeah,
that was like their thing this week. Also, I think NASA doing its own thing, it's admirable and it's fine. I don't want them to be in a position where they're taking all of the competitive edge away from private enterprise. I think that private enterprise should lead on this. I think that NASA's involvement allows for government policy really to come into play, especially when it comes to, I don't know, shipping and potential colonization and all those fantastic things. But I think it's pretty clear that when it comes to the economic side of this, people don't really care about colonizing Mars because we haven't really found anything of use when it comes to Mars. I think there's interesting scientific things about Mars that pique people's interests and make it attractive for a research project. But until we find mineable minerals, and raw materials that can actually be used to build and propel society forward, it seems to me that private enterprise is far more interested in being able to get to the asteroid belt to mine asteroids, which is great because that would take, the burden off of Earth and our resources, and people can calm the hell down.
Maybe.
But I think that's far more interesting. If you can find, these raw materials in space, why not mine them there? It'd be super expensive, but Congress a few years ago passed legislation signed by President Obama at the time to not tax anything mined or any resources taken from space, which is a piece of legislation that laid the framework for economic exploration.
Correct.
Which is really the only way we're going to space. I hate that people are like, we have to go to space, we have to go to Mars because they're going to be filming, a reality show. It's Mars One and blah 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 blah. No one cares about that. If you want people to invest in something, especially exploration and colonization, they need to make the money back to do it. This is a very expensive project, and it's a very long project.
Yes.
One of the biggest drivers for getting people from Europe to the Americas was the prospect of mineral rights and acquisition. And I don't give a shit what people have to say about colonization and all those things. Blah, that's a different conversation, okay? But when it comes to pushing these adventures, it's important for there to be a background built. And the only way you're going to do that is to have the prospect of making money out of this. Otherwise, you're just throwing money at a wall and hoping it sticks.
Right.
But it's not very profitable, which is a huge waste. It's a huge waste if we can't use resources that we've gotten. And I think we should. You know, if we can stop mining here on the planet, one, better for our environment, yes.
Yes.
And two, probably larger reserves of a lot of minerals and deposits that we look for here. Wouldn't it be great if we could find metals in space?
Mm-hmm.
Wouldn't it be great if we could find building materials in space? These are the things that are going to push space exploration. And I think the private sector is the variation of space exploration that's going to want this.
Mm.
Because they're going to want to recoup their investment. And that's the best way to do it. And I think that as long as NASA doesn't take the air out of this situation and allows private investors and private companies to pursue these goals, then that's totally fine. Let NASA have their little Newt Gingrich moon colony project. Who cares? Is the European Space Commission... The European Space Commission hasn't... When was the last time they launched an astronaut?
I couldn't tell you.
Euro Spaceport. The European Spaceport is situated in South America in French Guiana.
Oh, of course.
And overseas depart. You know what? There's only one way the Europeans are getting to space. It's either on Russian or American rockets. And I'm excited about this. I think it's great. I think that having NASA involved in this paves the roadway. And I'm not really sure why we stopped going to space, besides it being very expensive.
Mm.
But, I mean, with private enterprise pushing this, totally fine. And a race between Boeing and SpaceX is even more exciting.
I agree with that. I definitely agree with that.
Super exciting. To be able, I mean, one, the technological advancements that those two companies are going to be able to create just trying to get to Mars first. That's really exciting. And to be able to have exclusive rights at the very end of it for however long that lasts, that's also really exciting. And there's the potential for payoff for them. Good for them. They should do this. I don't have a problem with this.
It's a really interesting industry that's kind of developing around space travel and space exploration. I mean, I know there's a company up in the Seattle area that's called Planetary Resources, and going back to your point about mineral rights and things like that, they were focused on things like asteroid mining, getting the resources out of those, because there's a lot of they've done scans of a lot of asteroids passing through space, and they found like boatloads of iron or different resources of that nature. So I don't think I'm not. I don't really have a reason to be upset that NASA's on this thing. I'm more excited, to be completely honest, though, about Boeing and SpaceX's race to Mars.
I know. You can tell that we're like libertarian. Where we're like, just don't take SpaceX out. Let Boeing in. You can do whatever you want, government, but as long as you're just opening a pathway for bigger and better things.
Just be nice.
Yeah, play nice.
Just be nice.
But, I mean, I don't care. I mean, first of all, what has NASA been doing other than sitting on Twitter and screaming at people about science and, like, retweeting Bill Nye? Like that. Like, what have they been doing?
I knew there was a Bill Nye joke in there, and you definitely beat me to it.
But what have they been doing since launching satellites, I guess?
A long time ago?
Yeah, it's just... But even SpaceX has taken up deliveries to the International Space Station for the government, for the Americans.
Well, that's
people.
God, it's got to be a fucking contract.
I'm sure there's like an entire team of lawyers sitting there. Oh my God, do you remember when SpaceX's rocket launch for Facebook satellite blew up? Do you remember?
Yes.
I've never been more horrified and laughed so hard at the same time. I
Zuck.
was like, oh my God.
Mark got zucked.
Yeah, he got an insurance payout for that.
I'm sure he was not happy either.
What was that, 200 million?
I think it was. Yeah.
That was a big one.
Yeah.
That was what, in 2014?
That was serious.
Yeah, that sucks. But
that's like when your friend's like, bro, I got you. I'll drive your. I'll get your car back safe to your mom's house.
You're a mess.
Fucking police report 5 hours later along I-80. You're sitting there watching the news. A turquoise 1996 Toyota Corolla has been totaled. That looks a lot like my car.
Amos, no. Listen. It was in that moment that they were like, oh, what's NASA's track record? Not much better. But if we're going to be honest.
Let's be honest.
No, I don't care. I think this is great. I think it's fun. I think it's exciting.
Mm-hmm.
Who doesn't love going to space? You know me. I love science fiction.
I'm a fan of space.
My only fear, though, is that I did see Event Horizon, and that scared me.
Girl?
I was like... I love that movie. It's a great movie, but this is a little demonic. Did you ever see that movie?
No.
You never saw Event Horizon?
No.
Oh my God. So Event Horizon was like, I want to say it was like a cargo carrier.
Okay.
In space.
Sure.
And it was a research vessel or both. But they were trying this new space travel that folded space, and it ended up taking it to a different dimension, the hell dimension.
Oh,
and it suddenly reappeared.
Sounds about.
Yeah. And Sam Neill was like the only surviving member of the crew, and he was insane. Insane.
That sounds accurate, adequately fucked.
Yeah, that movie was a real scary thing. It was a lot of fun, though. It was a great movie.
I'm sure.
Anyways, that's the future we're getting, by the way.
It might be okay. I don't know. Could be fun.
Yeah, that's what's about to happen. We're about 70 years off from Sam Neill coming back from the hell dimension. All right.
Man.
Do we have anything more? I mean, Roy Moore lost, so, Congress is about to become a little less rapey.
Hopefully.
Unless
unless some more of the silence breakers roll through with words to say.
Well, I think we've got new names every day. I don't want to repeat them. They're all gross.
Oh my God. I can't. The only thing that's come as close to frustrating me about that shit recently is my Lyft driver today, but that's about it.
Your Lyft driver?
Yeah. He had opinions, Uber and Lyft drivers like are chatty Cathys, and I'm generally okay with that until some.
You talked to them about rapists in Congress?
No, but he said he just said something that annoyed me. That's all.
No.
About.
You don't even know.
No, I do. And he said something about landlords shouldn't be able to profit off of mortgages. His rent was being raised. He was mad about it.
Landlords shouldn't be able to profit off of mortgages.
Yeah.
Like landlords should only be able to charge rent that covers the mortgage?
Yes. I got real quiet.
I mean, same. But I was trying to think about that. What kind... No, I don't even want to go into it.
Who the hell would get into real estate?
Yeah, what's the point?
Yeah.
And what happens when you pay your mortgage off?
Then can your rent skyrocket?
And isn't having a renter an incentive to paying the mortgage off quickly?
Yeah.
You know what? People are stupid. They don't think anything
And
through.
then that also doesn't. doesn't take into account market rates and what happens with real estate locations, and you have to take into account all the locations around you and what they're charging and market values, and there's a lot of math that really just overrides your fucking feelings.
Well, it is just, yeah, who cares? What, like, first of all, why are you telling people what to do with their property? And second of all,
I don't own your property, but here's what I think.
People are stupid. Fuck that guy.
Sorry, that was way off topic.
It was way off topic. I don't even care. You know what? I like being a renter. I love my apartment. I love renting. My biggest responsibility outside of the walls of my apartment is my ivy plant, which I'm going to decorate for Christmas. I think I've decided on that. Oh, and I have an outlet right outside my door.
Yeah, you do.
So
you lucky fucker. That's true.
I know. Isn't that weird? I always thought that was weird, but that's
it's
for like construction or like service, like whoever's working.
Use it.
Yeah, I think I'm going to use that for my lights. That's what's going to happen.
Sure.
No, but I love my apartment, and I feel like I pay a reasonable price for my apartment, and it's gone up over the years. I've lived in my apartment for 7 years, but the price has gone up. I'm still under market. I have a great apartment, and I make deals with the property management company.
Yeah.
They raise my rent every time we make a new deal, and I sign the deal. You have, like, one, they don't have to continue renting to me.
Sure.
And two, I don't have to continue renting from them. But we come together for a deal because they make money, and I have a place to live.
Mm-hmm.
And I love renting. I don't want to have a house. I hate mowing lawns.
I rented a house and we had a lawn. I hated mowing that thing. It was miserable. I just want like one of the nice townhomes down here. They don't have a lawn. You don't got a lawn.
Yeah, no. I mean, there's grass out in the front of the building, but that's not my problem.
No,
that is somebody else's problem.
that's why my dog pees in it.
Oh yeah, get busy.
Shh. Oh, he's in the bedroom. It's fine.
Yeah, he's not here.
No.
He's peeing on your bed right now.
Oh man,
Little angel. He's so cute. I'm glad that
was promised.
I'm glad that he wanted to be held today because I was like, come here.
Shoot. Well, all right. I think that wraps it up for this week. It was a pretty relatively slow news week.
Yeah, I mean, and everything that came up in the news was annoying anyways. You didn't want to hear about it.
Yeah. We don't want to talk about
Stupid things.
We don't want to talk about it.
I'm looking at my Facebook feed, and there are like the most ecstatic liberals ever. Doug Jones wins. I'm so happy. First of all, a Democrat beat an accused child molester.
Yeah.
So
try harder, please.
Try harder. And barely. Okay. And barely.
Yeah.
So don't be too excited. I mean, this is a good moment. Good moment.
But I'm going to need you to simmer.
But
simmer real hard.
Yeah, take some perspective, okay? It's a good thing that Roy Moore is not going to the Senate.
I'll need it.
It is an excellent thing. One, Republicans are going to have to moderate their position on a lot of bullshit.
You'll need to just calm down.
And aren't they? But now, see, there's pressure. There's a lot more pressure on the House to resolve its issues with the Senate tax bill.
Yeah.
Because if they flunk it, they're not getting another chance.
Yeah, I got a lot of liberals in my newsfeed are flipping out right now.
I mean, the real question is whether he can hold the seat in 3 years. That's really it.
We're about to find out.
Yeah. That sounds like it's about it for us.
Yeah.
Roy Moore loses. Doug Jones goes to the Senate for Alabama.
Yeah, that's the big one. That's the big one today.
That's the big one. Trump sending us back to space.
Yeah.
Not that we ever left. It's called private enterprise.
Yeah.
But now
Trump,
the government's hand is on our rockets.
Yeah.
Once again.
It's clever.
Stroking us to orbit. Got it. They always got to touch everything. It's like having a TSA agent grab your rocket and launch you. What else happened? Jerusalem's the capital, as it has been.
Yeah, we'll find out.
Congratulations.
More to come on that. Clearly,
right.
And, concealed carry
is in the Senate, and we'll see if you can keep your permit when you cross state lines.
Yeah, find out.
So, good luck to America.
I want to thank everyone today again this week for listening to Booze and Bothered. Find us at boozedandbothered.com. Also on facebook.com/boozedandbothered. And then at Twitter at boozedandbothered. And also, we're still working on that Patreon, but it will be coming shortly, and we'll have many, many more details on that.
Picking tiers is really... It is kind of exciting to pick tiers because there's, like, content stuff that's involved.
Yeah.
So we'll wrap that up and we'll put it out.
Yeah.
It's called Safety, Sean.
Yeah. It's good. It's good. So more to come on that. Thank you, everyone, again for listening to Boozed and Bothered.
Wait, we have a Twitter too.
I mentioned that. I said at Boozed and Bothered.
Oh, I don't pay attention.
I know you don't. That's why I'm here.
Sorry, I was drinking.
I know. So I want to thank everyone once again for listening to Boozed and Bothered. My name is Sean, Daddy, your producer.
My name is Jonathan. I'm one of the hosts.
And we are out. See you next week.
Later.